Hello and welcome. I am the Suit&Tie Dip&ChewGuy, and this is a Wintergreen Fine Cut product, even though we are a month out from the Wintergreen Fine Cut Series. So, as you just saw, this is the original Wintergreen. It is the Skoal original, the original Skoal product. So I will be slotting this in the playlist of standalone products until the rest of the series comes at the beginning of March. Doing it that way so I can do a series opener and then slot this in right behind it. So I've never had this product before. I'm almost embarrassed to say that, but I'm not a wintergreen guy and I'm not a fine cut guy. And between the two, but at the same time, I sort of feel guilty because this is something everyone should try at some point. And that it's taken this long is, to me, a little embarrassing. So let's take a look, that said, at the packaging. I like the can. This is a really good looking can. It's simplistic. It's got a very classic feel to it, yet it does have a little bit more depth with different colors compared to, let's say, the Copenhagen Snuff, which is also a very classic look. But it's got a real old school forest green going on and a almost bronzish lettering on the flat, like the fine cut and whatnot. So it's got an American U.S. smokeless tobacco company, boxed silver rim raised. The border of the letters of Skoal are also raised in silver. Original is in silver. This little half moon up top is also raised, as is a black slight border between the upper and the warning label. Up here it says hand selected, which I will be interested to see if there is any actual difference in the tobacco itself. I will be able to tell. I never looked at this can close enough to realize that was written on the front. It has hand selected and 100% American tobacco. The 100% American tobacco, of course, is the usual for U.S. smokeless products. But hand selected, I'll be interested to see. It also has a tri-leaf tobacco stem, main stem, with 3 leaves off it, and since 1934 in that somewhat half moon top. All in all, this is a really good looking can. I wish I had gotten a closer look of this can before now. Going around the side banding, you have Skoal branding. The fact that it is fine cut. Up top under my finger there is the fact that it is a 1.2 net weight ounce can and it's tax class M. Manufacturer's information is down here. It is a product of the U.S. Smokeless Tobacco Company of Nashville, Tennessee, the makers of Skoal and Copenhagen. They also make Husky and Red Seal. Barcode. Then you have the scrunched warning label with Skoal branding, fine cut, and original wintergreen. And then general information. Sale is only allowed in the United States. Underage sale is prohibited. 100% American tobacco again, and the fact that it's smokeless tobacco. Now, unlike the Copenhagen Snuff, the Copenhagen original, this does come in plastic now, the can. So it would be cool if you had a version that had the fiberboard, but I fully believe that fiberboard isn't the best packaging for keeping the product fresh. Yeah, it's got a nostalgia feel and it's cool. It's old-timey and it looks cool and everything, But really, at the end of the day, I think the plastic is the better package for keeping the product in good shape. So you have the guaranteed fresh stamped can, okay? And the sell by date on this is March 3rd, 2019. So it's like a month out. I'm going to crack this and get a look inside. The other thing about this is not only have I never had this before, I've never had, not that I can remember, and I think I would remember, I've never had a fine cut wintergreen. Ever. So, yeah, there may be something seriously wrong with that, too. But got the U.S. Smokeless Papery Band. Fits well to the can, so good seal there, but it's papery, it cuts real easy. And we get it off. Oh, that is a fine cut. If that gives you any idea what the cut's going to be like. The product looks pretty darn moist for Skoal. And it's got a it's not real potent smelling. It's a sort of a smooth wintergreen, not to be confused with. I'm not suggesting it's a fine cut copy of the Copenhagen smooth wintergreen, but it's not sharp. Let me put it that way. It smells pretty good. Nothing really telling me that it's sweet, and I'm really not expecting it to be. It's pretty fine. I mean, it's pretty dark. It's near there's a brown tinge to it in person that's probably not shown on this camera, but that's pretty close. It gives you a good idea. Now, I did pack this can a little bit before the video started, but it really hasn't done anything. I guess it has a little bit, but... So, I'm just going to take a Walt Garrison pinch here and put it between my cheek and gum. I'm kidding. I'm not doing that. I'm going to get a nice... I'm going to back it with a third finger. Oh, okay. And there goes the desk. That's pretty good, actually. For me and wintergreen is pretty good. Let me hit the pause button. I'll be back in a minute. Let me hit the pause button and I'll be back in a minute. And I am back. Okay. So, it's a wintergreen with a dark tobacco backing, which is very, very present. Not overly sweet. There is a sweetness sort of there hanging around in the background, but it's not a Skoal extra wintergreen by any means. Let me put it that way. And I didn't expect it to be. I didn't expect it to be overly sweet. The cut is fine, and it is wintergreen, but see, I was in a bit of a problem here because fine cuts tear up my lip, and wintergreen burns me. So I was expecting, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be... It's really not that bad. There is a wintergreen tingle burn going on, and I don't know what it will do to my lip long term if I kept doing it because of the cut. But it's tolerable. I mean, I'm not finding it uncomfortable or anything like that. So that's sort of good. For myself, it's not a cut I am overly experienced with. I have problems with it, and I can't move it around because of that. I guess if I was, you know, gun to my head, I could get used to it and be able to control it better. But with the amount of products that are available, I don't know if that'll ever happen. This, though, it's definitely quality, and I'm going to be quite honest. I actually think it's a nicer looking lid than the Copenhagen Snuff. I know Copenhagen Snuff guys are probably going to like unsubscribe now, but I really, really like the packaging on this. And I'm glad I've tried it. Nicotine is definitely there. I'll leave it in during the uploading process of this video. It's wintergreen wise, it's, I don't know how many times I've said now, I'm not a wintergreen guy, but it's not a bad wintergreen to me. There are some wintergreens where I'm just like, tell you the truth, now that I've gotten more associated with different wintergreens, I'm not a big fan of the Stokers. I hate to say it, but I'm really not. So the wintergreen flavor-wise, it's not as over the top. I don't want to make it sound like it's a Grizzly Dark or a Copenhagen Smooth. It's not. It's sort of by itself. In fact, when it comes to any wintergreen product now, really, if we're going by length of time rankings, they should be judged by this, not this by them, if you get what I mean. It's a fine cut wintergreen. It's not my thing. But the packaging's really cool. I'm glad I bought it for that alone, and I'm glad I tried it. Nicotine's there, as I said. Flavor is a sort of dark wintergreen, not to be confused with Grizzly Dark, but like a dark tobacco-backed wintergreen. The wintergreen is not sweet. Not bitter in any way, but it's not real sweet. You got tobacco in your mouth. Finely ground tobacco is in your mouth. You know that, okay? It's got a topping of wintergreen on it. The cut is very fine. I mean, I don't want to say it's as fine as Copenhagen Snuff because I don't think it really is, but it's pretty darn, it's close. It's close. I don't think it's a snuff cut, but it is a very fine, or a very fine cut. It's finer cut than Stoker's natural fine cut, let me put it that way. It's very dark. The product looks, I mean, it's dark to the eye, and it looks good. The moisture level's great. For a regular line Skoal product, or compared to regular, like, classic products, the moisture is really good in this. Not quite Skoal Extra, but it's pretty darn close. It's definitely not as dry as the classic line, and it looks good in the can. It's consistent. It's fine, but even, you know, you can still tell that it's consistent. I can see, having done this, why people are loyal to this product. There's good reason to be loyal to it. If you like wintergreen and you're old school and like the fine cuts, I can see why this would be your thing. Just as I can see why Cope snuff guys are, you know, so into snuff and, you know, almost near religious about it. They're good products. They're quality products. They have long histories. There's really, beyond my own personal opinion, in the bigger picture, there's really not too much to dislike about them. They are where everything else came from. So, if you've never had it, and even if you don't like, if you're like me and you're not a big wintergreen fan, and you prefer much longer cuts, my everyday, remember, is Stoker Straight, so you should still give it a try. it's at least going to be quality. You might not overly, if you're a long cut, natural straight depth, you might not, you're not going to turn cartwheels over it. But this is one of those things. This and the Copenhagen stuff. If you're into tobacco enough that you're watching a video like this, then you really should give it a try at some point. Don't be like me and go literally, I don't know how many years now, and then be like, hey, I actually never tried this stuff before, because I feel like an idiot, to tell you the truth. So this has been the review of Skoal Original Fine Cut. Double thumbs up, since my other hand is taken. I'd like to say hello and thank you to John Deerman24. Thank you, sir. Do check out Berg's Dip Reviews, Winnington Outdoors, Dirty Pat Walsh, Wayside Lee 83, Real Talk Studios if you're into gaming oriented stuff. And if you have a question about snus, go over to the channel here on YouTube named snoozefreak.com. His videos are in German, but you should be able to at least figure out which product you're wanting to ask a question about. Go to that video, drop him a question in his comments section, and he will get back to you in English. So, again, this has been the review of Skoal Original Fine Cut. I am the Suit&Tie Dip&Chew Guy. Do take care of yourselves, and as always, God bless.